What's up, navigators? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to protect your family on YouTube if you are a lifestyle vlogger, family vlogger, or a motherhood vlogger. The purpose of today's video is to increase the safety and privacy of your family's personal information online. Please be mindful whenever you make the decision to share information about yourself or your family online. You do run the risk of personal and sometimes private information becoming available to others and being exposed. This video is not to be taken as legal advice. I am just sharing some tips that my own family does as lifestyle vloggers to help protect our identity so we are a little bit safer and have more privacy online while being YouTubers. If you do need further assistance in this department, I do highly recommend that you speak with a privacy professional and or a lawyer. Thanks for helping us build this community. I really appreciate it. Today's shout out winner goes to this channel right here. I'll go ahead and leave their information in the description box below. And if you would like a shout out on our next video, make sure to take a picture of you watching this one and tag us over on Instagram in your stories, or you can leave a comment down below. Okay, so tip number 1 is to automatically set up your account to filter comments. Now, I know this does not seem like a huge security measure, but last year a ton of family and lifestyle motherhood vloggers actually had their comments disabled due to an organized pedophile ring sharing disturbing content on the platform. So if you go to your creator studio, you'll see settings in the lower left-hand corner. Go ahead and select that. Then go down to where it says community, and if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a place to where you can place blocked words. So I personally use this box to make sure that I filter out anything like sexual comments, violence, racial slurs, and spam such as sub for sub. I've also gotten the advice to use this box to make sure that you block words that link you legally, especially if you're on the platform under an alias name and you're not using your legal name. So you're gonna wanna block your legal last name, any maiden names you have if you are married, the location that you live, such as the city or even the street you live on, and any other personal information you don't want easily spread about you. Now, this does not guarantee that people will never find out this information, but it does help stop the spread of this information being available on comments. So if someone finds it online, they can't come to your channel and start commenting on your channel or on your videos, letting people know like where you live or what your legal last name is. You also want to make sure you check the box that says block link. This will automatically put anyone who drops a link into your review folder, so you have to manually review all of these. Make sure if you are monitoring your comments, you don't just delete the comments. You want to make sure you're actually flagging them as spam. This will send it to YouTube, and YouTube can go ahead and take care of these accounts and make sure that they are deleted so they can't continue to spread this type of information. Now, from the same page, if you go back up to the top, you'll see something that says default settings. You're going to want to make sure you select hold potentially inappropriate comments. This does the same thing as the block links checkbox. It just makes sure that if YouTube feels that this comment may be inappropriate or hold anything that is not appropriate for everyone to see, it goes into your held or review folder so you can manually either report it as spam, delete it, or approve it before it becomes available to the public under your channel in the comment section. Okay, so tip number 2 is to make sure you turn off allow embedding on your videos, especially videos that show your children. When we upload our video, YouTube automatically has a setting that allows our videos to be embedded into other people's websites. This means that a viewer can take your video and put it onto their website, and if someone goes onto their website, that person can view your video without ever having to go to your channel or go on YouTube itself. A lot of YouTubers like this and don't have an issue with it because it allows places like companies, if they did a review, or blog sites that have a similar niche to you, to go ahead and promote your video, which increases your views, it increases your watch time. So it's not really an issue, and it's actually a good thing in most cases. Now, on the darker side of things, people can do this on more inappropriate sites, such as porn sites or fetish sites that show children, which is something that pedophile rings are known for. We obviously don't go out of our way to purposely make content that is deemed inappropriate, especially when it comes to showcasing our children. But these people will take things as innocent as your children swimming or taking them to a gymnastics class or a dance recital and expose them in a really inappropriate way. Now, this is not to scare you away from vlogging, because I know a lot of family and motherhood vloggers like to vlog with their families because it's memories for us to look back on. I just want you to be 100% fully aware of what can happen when you film film your children or your families and decide to put it online. All right, so tip number 3 is to be mindful of what is shown in the background of your videos. When we are vlogging, a lot of times we are so focused on looking at the lens and not at the viewfinder that we kind of forget that there are things around us that are still shown in the background. So this includes things like street signs in your neighborhood or in your city, especially if you live in a smaller town. Also, be sure to blur out anything like cars, especially when it shows their license plate, even if it's not your car. Person can definitely narrow down your location by taking the information such as registration on a certain car and where that car is located at, and combined with other things like street signs in other videos can be very dangerous. So make sure you're mindful of what is shown and take that extra time to blur out all of those details. Also, be sure not to mention things like daily routines or when you are home alone. So for example, if you are a mom vlogger, make sure you do not mention things like my husband's gonna be gone for a week, or if you do happen to mention that, make sure that video is not uploaded until your husband is actually back home. Another thing you want to avoid doing is saying things like, every Monday I go to Target after I drop my kids off at school, or I take a morning run every day at 7 a.m. It's actually a really good habit not to get into these set weekly or daily routines, because people can watch your patterns and make you a target that way, especially when you're a vlogger. So just kind of keep that information to yourself. Okay, so tip number 4 is to make sure you set up a PO box and make sure that PO box is not in your direct city. Now, if you live in a bigger city, you may be able to get away with this. Just make sure it's not in any approximate vicinity to your actual home and it's a little out of the way. I know this is very frustrating, but again, PO boxes is something we make public. We put on our channels, so if people want to send us stuff, or we send to brands, and so you don't want that information being linked to your direct home, because you are sending your address through email and hackers love that. So it just kind of keeps you safe that way as well. Honestly, invest into a PO box before you invest into an upgraded camera. Also, when checking your emails, make sure you do not click on any links inside of the email, even if the email looks like it is coming from YouTube. This is the biggest scam that people run, and as soon as you click the link, it's a phishing attempt, and they basically steal all of your information, and most times they will steal your channel and lock you out, and it is very hard to recover. I don't think I've heard any successful story of a YouTuber whose channel's gotten stolen this way actually being recovered and them getting their channel back. Now, if you do get an email and it does look like it's from YouTube, for example, I got an email a couple of months ago that stated that one of my videos was going to be taken down because it violated terms of service, which that video was over a year old. So I kind of thought that was weird. But instead of clicking on the video, because it'll say click here to resolve the issue, I exited out of my email. I went into my creator studio. I looked up the video that I was talking about to see if it was actually being deleted or not. In this case, it was a real email from YouTube because my video was being deleted, but I still never went back into my email to resolve the issue. You can resolve the issue straight into your creator studio, not from your email. That is so important to note, you guys. I also make sure I do this when I get brand deals coming in. I want to make sure that I'm looking up the company before agreeing to work with them to make sure, one, it's a legitimate company, and two, that it actually fits my brand. You just never know what is encrypted into those links. So it's always safe to go into Google and look up things, or go into your creator studio and talk to YouTube itself. Now, if you do get an email that states like your video is being deleted or your channel is being terminated, and you go into your creator studio to see if there is anything and you can't find it, most likely it's a phishing attempt and it's not a real email. But if you want to double check, you can go ahead and contact YouTube itself. All you have to do is go up into the upper right hand corner. You're going to see like a little question mark. Go ahead and click on that. That's their help section, and you're going to see a drop down menu, and then you can click help or support. Okay, so tip number 5 is to avoid tying legal information to your channel. So I know for a lot of lifestyle vloggers like myself, it is easier for us to use our name because our channel kind of revolves around us and our lifestyle. But doing this does make it easier for people to find out more information about us. So if you can, I highly recommend going by like an alias or maybe a nickname, or just like a first and a middle name, or a first name and a made up last name if you have to. Something that doesn't legally tie your channel to the public. And then make sure to do the same thing for your children. So try not exposing their whole name. Now, if you already have a well-established channel and you're looking to change information now to help protect your children and your family in the future, you can change things like your channel name and even your channel URL But I want you to be mindful, even though you change that information, there is still metadata in YouTube. So if someone looks up your old information, they can still find your current channel. For example, when I first started my motherhood channel, I was under the name Red Wine and Blue Mom, and I changed it over a year ago. But if you still go into YouTube search and look up Red Wine and Blue Mom, my channel and my current videos will all still come up. So I really want you to think about that, because if it is really important for you to make sure you disconnect any legal information or legal ties to your channel, you may have to start an entire channel all over again. All right, you also want to make sure that you are setting up a separate business email account. You don't have to get anything fancy. You could just set up a new Google account and make sure it's a new Google email account. Again, this just makes sure that your personal information and your business information is not tied together. There is a lot going on in the world right now, and we have seen a rise of things like pedophilia and hackers taking advantage of the people who are online more, because most of us are still quarantined or in isolation and unable to go back to work. And Roberta Blake actually just did a video on the new hacker ring that is going around that is taking over YouTube accounts. So I highly recommend you go into my description box and you make sure you click and watch his video to see how to further protect yourself and your channel from being stolen, along with your information. And for more simple strategies to grow on YouTube, you can go ahead and watch this video here. All right, now get out there, make some content, let's grow together.